Peace. The time to this one, man. Shout out to the Aborigines, man. Sorry I haven't been able to shoot no live streams. You know my current situation. I do have some other things in works, but I'm not gonna put it out there until shit go through. Alright, for the meantime, though, you know, got, I believe to be a great video. Alright, I'm gonna be reading from Forbidden Archaeology, alright? And I got the PDF and I got this letter right here that he wrote, alright? And he's just basically giving a summary because, honestly, let me see, where is it at? This one. Oh, it's this one right here. This one is almost 209 pages. I ain't got time to read all that shit right now. So, alright. So look, I'm gonna show y'all something, right? So I just been reading through this and I found a lot of interesting stuff. Now it says this right here. It says other than Homo sapiens, no humanoid is known to have fashioned works of art like the Napa figurines. The evidence therefore suggests that humans of modern type were living in America around 2 million years ago. Alright, so that's just to start you off. Alright, so let's read through this right here. I'm not going to be reading through the whole article. I'm just going to be showing you certain points in it. I'm going to read a little bit of this just to give you an idea what they talking about. Alright, let me open up a little bit. Alright, let me see. Alright, that's good right there. I believe that's good. Alright, so a couple of years ago, in the middle of my talk about my book Forbidden Archaeology to the students and professors of the earth science at the Free University of Amsterdam, a professor stood up and said, "What you say is very interesting, but how can we accept something that goes against what thousands of archaeologists and geologists and other scientists are telling us? Forbidden Archaeology documents evidence for extreme human antiquity. Actual over the past 150 years, archaeologists has found an abundance evidence showing that human beings like ourselves has existed for hundreds of millions of years." Okay, now for him to say hundreds of millions of years, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Now I didn't want to put this out here because I got the book over there, but I couldn't, like, I didn't really want to read from the book and whatever and take pictures of it. I couldn't find a PDF until I just looked that had similar things. Even this PDF right here, the other one, it doesn't have, it's basically an overview of the book, if you will. It's like, it's basically giving you all of the main raw material that's in the book or whatever, alright? So, alright, so it say this evidence practically known to both scientists and members, it say of the public radically contradicts the picture of human origins that's presented to us by Darwin. Modern followers who say that we evolved fairly recently within the past hundreds, thousands of years or so. Now they saying 100,000 years or so. It say from some more ape-like ancestors. So the professors were correct. It say I was indeed asking my audience to consider something that goes against what all the conventional experts are saying. Okay, now me, the Tanchinist one, I'm doing the same thing with my research. All right, it say, you know, I responded, it might have been quite interesting to have been a Darwinist in 1860. It say when hardly anyone accepted it. It say even though I disagree with Darwinists, it say I have a lot of respect for the early ones because it must have taken a considerable amount of courage to stand up for Darwinism in the face of opposition and disagreement from what was then the scientific establishment. All right, so it say. I then added, I'm especially surprised to hear such an objection. All right, let me go back to the top right here. All right, such an objection from you because Dutch scholars have an historical reputation of intellectual independence, and now you are saying that we can only accept ideas that have already been endorsed by thousands of experts. All right. At this point, sensing that the mood of the audience was against him, the professor bravely said, "I can also stand up against thousands," and sat down. So I returned to the Netherlands for another series of lectures to students and professors, archaeology and anthropology and biology at the University of Amsterdam. Alright, I can't pronounce some of them words. It's alright, I'm go right here. Alright, but Amsterdam, Iraq, Latin, I don't know how to pronounce that. Alright, among others, after the lecture, during the question session, there was many kinds of reactions from my listeners. Sometimes they were shouting at me. Sometimes they sat in shock and silence, not knowing what to say or think. Sometimes they asked me questions, deep questions about the nature of our knowledge of humankind, hidden history. All right. So I say yes. The audience was tough and unsympathetic and skeptic, but that is to be expected when you present ideas as radical as mine. Nevertheless, despite all this, I did win some admissions that the case I was presenting was interesting, well argued, and worthy of serious consideration. The reaction mirrors that of the scientific world in general, where forbidden archaeologists has attracted a great deal of attention. The book has been reviewed in most of the major journals of archaeologists and anthropologists, and history and science. Not always unfavorable. I have always had a chance to speak about the book at the international conference such as the World Archaeology Congress held in New Delhi in '94. It's a 20th International Congress for History of Science. It's held in Lille in '97. It's the World Archaeologists Congress held in Cape Town '99, and the European Association Anthropologists annual meeting held in Bournemouth, England in '99. All right, so you see right there what it says. Say you've been lied to. You see this? You see this right here, right? You've been lied to. You see this? All right, so we're gonna get into this. All right, so now look, let me get stopped for 1 second. All right, so you know why I'm just gonna follow up on this. I'm not gonna make no more videos dealing with the anthropologists because I read this book. I read this book at least about 7-8 years ago or whatever, and Eileen Bay actually put it out there. But when you think about it now, it's believable. Before I couldn't really I couldn't conceive the notions of what he was saying, but now I can. All right. So now look, let me just make sure because I don't want to be reading everything. I just want to just give you a little. All right. So boom, here we go right here. Let me read this right here. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab some water real quick. I'm back. All right, so I say not all of my audience in the Netherlands was unsympathetic. It said I spoke about forbidden archaeologists at a lecture in Amsterdam organized by Herman Heege. It say of the Frontier Science Foundation, which published the bi-monthly Dutch language journal Frontier 2000. I also had a chance to talk to Theo Pajaman, and his listeners on Talk Radio 1395 AM. I say, but although I do like to speak to people who are already inclined to agree with me. I especially enjoy attempting to change the minds of people who are not so inclined. Me too. All right, so say my research into humanity It's into humanity. It say hidden history was inspired by my study of the ancient Sanskrit writing in India, collectively known as the Vedas. I guess that's how it's pronounced. They say among these Vedic writings are the Purana of history, it said, which tell human civilization existed on the planet for tens millions of years. So it say, it say even hundreds of millions of years. It say my interest in India Vedic writing is more intellectual. They say for 25 years I have been practicing the bata. I guess that's how you pronounce it. The devotation. All right, so look, let me see something. All right, so that he telling you right there. All right, a little something right there. I don't want to, because all that right there is basically going into some India stuff. Now, let me see something. All right, here we go. Right here. All right. It say hundreds of cases of scientifically reported evidence for extreme human antiquity consist with accounts of the human origins given by the ancient Sanskrit writing in India, the process by which the evidence has been filtered out of normal scientific discourse. It say now let's look at some particular cases. All right. Now, right here on this side. All right. In the last century, gold was discovered in Syria, Nevada, mountains of California. Say the mountaineers came from all over the world to extract, distill. It say at first they simply took the gold from streams. It say, but afterward they began to dig mines into the sides of the mountain. See, like they dig and find shit, and whatever they take shit from the earth, and then they go and sell it to other people and shit. And then once they find out it's worth something, they keep practicing the same fucking process. It say inside the tunnel where they were digging into some solid rock, the miners found human skeletons, spear points, and numerous stone tools. These finds occurred at many different locations. One of them was the Table Mountain of, I guess you put Tulare, I can't pronounce that, County, California. Sorry, y'all. All right. They said, according to modern geological, reports, the rock in which the miners found the bones and the artifacts at the Table Mountains is about 50 million years old. Now, check this out, all right? Now, people might be bugging out from this because they have never heard of human life going back this far. See, if you're not turned on to the information, then you can't conceive that in your mind. But when you have read stuff like this, and the sad part is this, right? You got these researchers out here who dismiss this information. They will dismiss this information, and their only basis of dismissing this information will be that other scientists dismiss the information because it doesn't agree with what they're being told. Just like I mentioned in the previous page I read previous. All right, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing when we doing this indigenous Aborigine research. You show them research after research after research. You show them that people in the 1800s were saying that the indigenous people here was Negroes. They telling you this is before anybody even had this conceit. I mean, anyone can even think of this. All right, they was already talking about this. Samuel Morton. You got all these people who came out and was telling you that people was already here, but people dismissed it because it doesn't agree. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him dismiss the whole out of Africa theory since people don't want to agree, and I'm going to let him show you that the oldest shit they found was here in the Americas. All right, so boom. Now he's saying it's 50 million years old. This was found in California. All right, so let's go back. Just for the people who can't conceive, it say these finds occurred at many different locations. One of them was Table Mountain. I can pronounce that, County, California. According to the modern geological reports, the rock in which the miners found found the bones and artifacts at the Table Mountain is about 50 million years old. Our Vedic archaeologists would not be surprised at this, but our conventional archaeologists would be very surprised because his textbooks say that no human or even ape man existed at that time. Okay? Okay? Oh, shit. Okay, hold up. Let me get back. Okay. Where was we? Alright, we was right here. All right. The California discoveries was very careful. No, I'm sorry. The California discoveries were very carefully documented and reported to the scientific world by Dr. J.D. Whitney, a geologist for the state of California. His work was this is Anrifuous. The Anrifuous. This is basically dealing with gold right here. It say gravel and Syria, Nevada. It say was published by the Harvard University in 1880. So why did we not hear about anything about these discoveries today? Now he said this was found in the 1880s. All right. Now I don't know how they had the technology to determine whether or not it was 50 million years old, but I'm quite sure that they're saying that these had to be very old. Because he's saying that they said they found like 180 feet below the ground. So, all right. So it say Whitney work was dismissed by Dr. William H. Holmes, a very influenced anthropologist who worked at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. He said that the Smithsonian Institute annual report for 1898 through 99, perhaps its Professor Whitney had fully anticipated the story of human evolution as it is understood today. He would have hesitated to announce a conclusion formatted that human existed in very ancient times in North America. Now check that shit out right there. Let me read that one more time, all right? Whitney works was dismissed, all right? Now let me see something. Where we at? It say Whitney works with the Smith. It's a very influential anthropologist who worked at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. He said in the Smithsonian Institute annual report for 1898 and 1899, perhaps if Professor Whitney had fully anticipated the story of human evolution as it is understood today, he would have hesitated to announce the conclusion formatted that human existed in very ancient time in North America, all right? Notwithstanding the imposing, go to the top, the opposing array of testimonies with which he was confronted. In other words, and the facts did not agree with the favorite theory, then such facts, even as imposing array of them, must be discarded. This is a good example of the operation of knowledge filters. So they're saying that they filter in knowledge, all right? So it say, and the knowledge filtration process continued. It says to influence the California gold mine discovery even today. I appeared on a television show called The Mysterious Origins of Man, produced by BC Video and broadcast by NBC, the largest television network in the United States. This show was based in part of my book, Forbidden Archaeologists. The show also features the works of other researchers who challenge the current ideas of human prehistory. It say among them was Graham Hancock. It say author of Footprints of the Gods. Graham and his wife Sandra stopped to visit me in Los Angeles on their way to Japan, where they was going to investigate some underwater pyramids, apparently of human construction. In the course of our conversation, we agreed that a lot of the really exciting scientific research is going on outside the normal channels. All right, so Let me say, all right. Let me just go there. Let me see something real quick. All right, you know what? Fuck, I'm gonna read this. All right, so in case when the producers were filming the mysterious origins of man, I asked them to go to the Museum of Natural History and University of California, Berkeley, where the California gold mines artifacts are stored. The producers asked the museum officials the museum officials for permission to film the artifacts. The museum official, assuming that the producers were working on a tight deadline, said they could not bring out the object on short notice. The producers then explained that they had 6 months time to finish their work. They say the museum officials then say that they had another problem with shortage of staff and money. They would have to pay their workers overtime to bring out the object, they say, and could not afford to do it. They say the producers replied that they would not pay the museum workers any amount of money required. They say, but at that point, the museum official simply said they were not going to bring out the artifact for filming. Finally, the producers just used some 19th century photographs of the object in the show. And say when the show finally aired in February '96, it inspired extreme reaction from scientific community in the United States. Alright, so this was the first time a major American television network had even broadcast a show that seriously questioned Darwin's account of human origin. Say, why the scientific community so angry? One reason is they did not like the anti-Darwinism idea reaching American school students through the popular media television. They say the president of the National Center of Science Education, as reported in the journal Science, complained that after the mysterious origins of man was broadcast, the phones of his organization headquarters was ringing constantly. Science teachers from all over the country was calling, saying that the students who saw the show were asking them difficult questions, meaning on the internet, scientists wonder what effect such television programs might eventually have on government funding for certain kinds of scientific research. See? Alright, say most of the opposition to the program came from what I call the fundamentalist Darwinian group with the scientific community. The group adheres to Darwinism more out of ideology, commitment than scientific objectivity. Say ideology, commitment. That's the same thing these niggas do in the Pan-African community. But I'm about to smash some niggas' dreams in this article right here. Now, like I said, it doesn't prove nothing. Either Michael Cremo is a fucking nut and he's crazy and he out of his mind to believe that men or anything existed 250 or 50 million or even a million years old, when most people believe it was only 100,000. So like I said in my other previous videos, you can find something that was 270,000. These people saying that the oldest was only 100,000. Now, they saying that this Austria, whatever the fuck this is, Lucy, this shit right here, shout out to Chief Holiday, because he actually always talks about this motherfucker right here, right? But this is what they saying that was out of Africa, right? Now I'm going to get to that. Hold up. Alright, so where the fuck was I? Skill my language. Alright, so let me see. Where the hell was I? Alright, let me start right here. Alright, this group adhered to Darwin more than ideology commitment than scientific objectivity. Like I said, if this group was disturbed when NBC showed the mysterious origins of man in February '96, then no, they became even more disturbed when they learned that NBC was going to show it again, despite their protests after the show aired the second time. Dr. Allison Palmer, president of the Institute of Cambrian Studies, sent an email message dated June 1796 to the Federal Communication Commission of the United States government, asking the FCC to punish NBC for showing. Damn. It said, hold up. So, all right. So the president of the Institute of the Cambrian Studies sent an email message to the FCC. It say to punish NBC for showing the program. See, look at this here. It say to the American people. This letter was circulated on the scientific discussion group by Dr. Gerald Lips, a paleontologist. It say at the University of California at Berkeley, in order to generate more pressure from scientists on the FCC. Palmer and his supporters wanted the FCC to censor NBC for showing the program, compel NBC to repeatedly broadcast, and a public apology to compel NBC to pay a substantial fee. Fortunately, this effort did not succeed. What all did, and I'm sorry, my bad. Let me get this off my screen. Alright, so what all this shows is that science does not always operate according to its high ideals. Now look, we've been showing pictures of people in Virginia with afros and people, fucking white people carrying black people, and people, oh nope, I'm not Indians. Oh, it was a mistake. We got articles after articles telling you that these people they found here was similar to Africa's Australians and South Pacific Islanders, but people still dismiss the idea that people stayed here because someone lied to you. Someone lied to you and said, think of it like this, right? Okay, when you find it to be ironic that even though with all the diseases and stuff that was over here, that somehow Africans could come over here and survive the diseases, but the Indians couldn't. And think about it like this, right? And the Africans' immune system would have already been compromised just by them being around feces, around urea, and around these other biomaterials that form. That's where most of all the disease and all the stuff come from. The shit that's, the stuff that's inside your body. The waste that's inside your body is what forms a lot of these bio compounds, and people don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like what the fuck is the name of that disease, that virus? E. coli. E. coli is formed by giving cows corn and shit, right? So when the cows eat their own, sometimes the feces get inside the meat when they processing the meat, and that's how E. coli is found. But it comes from inside the animal. The same thing like most of these other Ebola and all this other stuff come from inside your body. You understand what I'm saying? So now you telling me that people was able to travel across seas on boats that had all these bio problems, and then you fighting the stuff that the Europeans already had. You understand what I'm saying? You fighting all that. It just doesn't make no sense. It doesn't. It makes sense to me because they covering the shit up just like he just said right here. But it doesn't make sense to other people because their minds can't grasp it. All right. So boom, let me get down to it. All right, and just remember like this. I'm sorry. Let me just move forward. All right, so like I said right here, I'm gonna read this one more time. I say, well, all this shows is the science does not always operate according to its high idol. It say the way science work, we are normally told is on the basis of free and open discussion of evidence and ideas. But in case of the mysterious origins of man, we see elements of the scientific community restricting access to evidence and preventing an open discussion of it. Who else doing that? we see elements of the scientific community restricting access to evidence and preventing open discussions of it. Yes, there is a fact of knowledge filter. I have fully documented let's go to the top right here and let's continue to read the reaction of the mysterious origins of man, along with other reactions of the forbidden archaeology in a book titled Forbidden Archaeology Impact. Now let's consider a case from the more recent history of archaeology. In 1979, Mary Leake found dozens of footprints at the place called La Tolio in East Africa, country of Tanzania. She said that the footprints was indistinguishable from those modern human beings. But they were found in layers of solidified volcanic ashes that are 3.7 million years old. According to standard views, human capable of making such prints should not have existed that long ago. So how do science explain the I guess that's how to pronounce footprints? All right, they say that there must have existed. They must have existed in East Africa 3.7 million years ago. Some kind of ape man who feet just like ours. Now check this shit out. They say, and that is how the footprints was made. This is very interesting. No, this is a very interesting proposal, and unfortunately, there is no scientific evidence to support it. Scientists already have the skeletons of the ape men who existed 3.7 million years ago in East Africa, and they called it Austrian, whatever. The picture I just showed y'all. It's saying their foot structure was quite different from the modern human beings. All right. It says the question came up when I was speaking at the World Archaeology Congress in Cape Town, South Africa. Also speaking there was a scientist, Ron Clark, saying 98. Clark discovered the fairly complete skeleton of anthropology, whatever the fuck it is. It's a and place called straight front, whatever. I can't pronounce that shit, man. Sorry, y'all. South Africa. This discovery was widely publicized all over the world as the oldest human ancestor. It said it was 3.7 million years old, the same as the Latalo footprints. But there was a problem. All right. So Clark reconstructed the footprints of Strekfrontine anthropology. Archaeology, whatever the fuck, man. I cannot. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have already looked it up, but I already know the word, but I always have problems pronouncing that word. It's saying the ape, like I just say the hominoid or fucking ape, the ape woman. You know what I'm saying? That's basically Lucy, what they talking about right there. That's Lucy. All right, that's the the one they found 3 million years old in East Africa. That's this person right here, or this animal right here. All right, now as you gonna see when we go down, they ain't find no other human remains in Africa to outdate this. This is the oldest human remains that they found in Africa. Now he's telling you the oldest human remains they found was in California, according to what he found. Now, as we go through, he's going to show you more evidence of the Americas, okay? And they also saying they found it in other places, too. But I'm just dealing here with the Americas. The Americas is the oldest ones that I have seen. All right, so here we go. It say humans. You see what the problem was for him. He was claiming to have the oldest human ancestors, but there is no evidence from anywhere in Africa that human beings like us was walking around the exact same time. So how do you answer my question? No, he said that it was an Australian, whatever, y'all already know what the word is. Say who made their footprints. It say, but he was walking with his big toe pressed close to the side of his foot. It say, and with his other toes curled under. It say, I did not find that to be very satisfactory explanation. Scientists who find things that should not be found sometimes suffer for it professionally. One such scientist was Dr. Virginia Steinmactyre. It's saying an American geologist who I know personally. Saying 1970, some American archaeologists discovered stones and weapons at a place called Heliolaco. It's saying Mexico. They included a arrowhead, a spear point. According to archaeologists, some weapons are made and used only by humans like us, not ape men. So the Heliolaco, it say the artifacts was found at the bottom layer of the trenches. Of course, the archaeologists wanted to know how old the objects were. So the archaeologist wants to know how old. No, I'm sorry. So when the archaeologists want to know how old something is, they call in some geologists, because the geologists will be able to tell them the layer of rock in which you found these objects is so and so thousand-year old. It say among the geologists who came to date this site was Virginia Steinmactyre, using 4 of the latest geology dating methods. She and her colleagues from the United States Geological Survey determined that the artifact's barren layer was 300,000 years old. Sorry. So when this information was presented to the chief archaeologist said it was impossible according to standard view. There was no human beings in existence 300,000 years ago, and anywhere in the world, not to speak of North America. The current doctrine is that humans did not enter America any earlier than 30,000 years ago. So what happened? Archaeologists refused to publish the date 300,000 years. It said instead they published an age of 20,000 years for that. That's the same thing they fucking doing with Naya, yo. That's the same thing they doing with Naya. I had a feeling that Naya was a lot older than 12,000 years old, man. I'm telling you, and this is just my thought on this. And everything else that they find and they lying and they hiding about, because this right here tells you everything. Okay? Now I say, check this out. So it said, all right, so instead they published the age of 20,000 years from the site, and where they did not get that date. They say it came from carbon 14 date on a piece of shell found 5 kilometers from the place where the artifacts was found. Damn. You see this shit, man, how they be covering shit up? They say Steinmactyre tried to spread the word about the true age of the site. Because of this, she began to get a bad reputation in her profession. She lost her teaching position. They say she held at the university. All right, we're going to keep on going with this. This is getting very interesting. It say, and all of her opportunities for advancement in the United States Geology Survey was blocked. She became so disgusted that she went to live in a small town, Rocky Mountain, Colorado, and she remained silent for 10 years until I found out about her case. It say, and wrote about it in Forbidden Archaeologist, giving her work some attention it deserved, partly because of this. The Heliolaco site is now being studied. It says now being studied by more open-minded archaeologists, and hopefully before too long, her original conclusion about the age of the site will be confirmed. All right, so this basically tells you they found something in, I believe it's Italy right here. Matter of fact, no, let me see something. Hold on, let me see something real quick. You know what? Let me read this right here. The anatomically modern human skulls was found by the Italian geological Giuseppe Razzani. It's at the Continentala near whatever, I can't pronounce that. Say northern Italy. All right, so that's not what I want to read. I didn't want to read this one right here. All right, hold up. All right, so hold up. Let me see something. All right, let me skip. Let me go down to this page right here. I'm gonna read this right here. All right, it say around, and I suggest that we go to the Royal Museum of Natural Science. They say because that is where I thought Rutat collection should be. The first museum officially we spoke to have denied having any knowledge of the collection, but finally we found an archaeologist who knew the collection. Said, of course, it was not being displayed to the public. The archaeologist took me to the storeroom of the museum, and there I took a photograph of a Rutat collection of hundreds of 30-million-year-old stone tools and weapons from Belgium. They say up at this point. Alright, now hold up. That's not what I'm reading. He's talking about some shit he found in Belgium. I'm gonna read this right here. Alright, boom, hold up. Just bear with me, y'all. Alright, this is in. Alright, let me read. I want to read this part right here. Alright, this part right here. Alright, so it say, let us consider an interesting report from Morrisville Times, a newspaper published in a little town in Morrisville, Illinois. Now this is in Illinois. This is in North America. In the year of 1892, it tells of a woman who was putting a big piece of coal into her burning stove. They say the piece of coal broke in half, and inside she found a beautiful gold chain, 10 inches long. They say the two pieces of coal were still attached to the ends of the chain, determining that the chain has been solidly embedded in the coal for the newspaper report. And we were, I'm sorry, y'all, that shit threw me off. I hate when I can't pronounce a word and then I could solidly embedded. Sorry, y'all. Solidly embedded in the coal. From the newspaper reported, we were able to determine the mine from which the coal came. According to the Geology Survey of the state of Illinois, the coal that the mine is about, the coal from that mine is about 300 million years old, the same as the human skeleton found in the site. Now check this out, y'all. Now look, they saying that they found the skeleton and a gold chain. They said it's supposed to be 10 inches long, okay? Now they saying they found a gold chain in the rock. Now just think about this, man. Who wear gold? Who wear gold? You Google people wearing gold chains and you already know who wear gold. Now I ain't just because black people wear gold chains. We know Europeans stash gold. They don't want to put the gold on. They want to sell it. They get the gold and put it in the fucking vault, and then they harvest it and keep it. We wear our gold. We might, and I guess at that time we had free gold. That's the reason why now we working and shit for gold. We had gold. We can make our own beautiful chains or do whatever we want to do with it. And that was it. We didn't want to sell nothing because we had food. See, if once you got food, you don't want to all right, I guess if you got food and you got resources, you don't need to sell nothing. Okay, you might want to trade or barter, but you don't need to go ahead and make, my plan is to go and dig in this to find me something, some precious metal where I can sell it. And then once that precious metal run, I got to go back and find more and more. And this is what people spend a lifetime doing, digging in the earth, finding stuff that don't belong to them, and then they selling it. And this is how a lot of these motherfuckers obtain their wealth. All right, so let me go down, man. All right, so look, they say let's go back to the scientific literature. It's saying 1862, a scientific journal, the geology. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm bugging y'all. The geology. It's they told the human skeleton found 90 feet below the surface, the Macopan County of Illinois. According to the report, there was a 2-foot thick layer of unbroken solid rock directly above the skeleton. From the government geology of the state Illinois, I learned that the layer of the earth in which the skeleton was found are about 300 million years. It's a making the skeleton the same age as the chain, like he mentioned. It's saying in 1852, the Scientific American reported that the Bureau of Metallic Vase, it came from the 5 meters deep in the solid rock near the city of Boston. According to the modern geological reports, the age of the rock at this place is 500 million years old. Now I'm saying that might be a little out of it. Even 300 million years old is a little out of it. Like I said, man. I mean, if it could be 3 million years, you know what I'm saying? It could be 3 million years. But it still outdates anything that they saying. All right, so, and right here, he's saying that the oldest object he found in Africa. So let me make sure I put that out there. All right, so he say the oldest object that I encountered in my research were some round metallic spirits found over the past 20 years by miners in Ota Daland, in western Transvaal regions of South Africa. The objects are 1 of 2 centimeters in most interesting are the parallel grooves that go around the equator of the spirits. The spirits were submitted to the metallurgists for analysts. It say before they were filmed for the television program, The Mysterious Origins of Man. Okay, all right. So I guess that's what he felt. Wait, hold on. He said that. All right. They said they could see no way in which the spirits could have formed naturally in earth. It's saying indicate they are a production of intelligent work. The spirits come from a mineral deposit over 2 billion years old. Now I don't know how they could find out how old that is, but they say we are nearing the end of a brief review of evidence for the extreme human integrity. I have given you a small sample of evidence. I could go on for quite some time because there are hundreds of such cases of scientific literature over the past 150 years old. Now he said there's hundreds, okay, but these jokers who claim, people, you need other people to back up or to make you to basically graph your thoughts, man. If you smart, you'll be saying, well, look, man, okay, this guy's saying these things are 300 million years old, 500 million years old. In some cases, he said a billion years old or whatever. Let's just say, all right, let's say he's wrong about that. Let's just say they maybe a couple million years old. You know what I'm saying? That still is older than any of the Darwin theories and all. Where did man come from, man? Where did man come from? But you always hear that man was always here. You always hear that from people, these scholars who always talk about this stuff. They always say that man it never was a time that man wasn't here. All right? And they would show you that in the Flintstones, that man was there with the dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's something I always looked at even as a kid. But it shows you if dinosaurs even existed, because some people don't believe that they existed. They just believe that they was pretty much the same animals that exist now, but just a little bit, just huge. They just was bigger animals than they were now. But let me continue on. Let me end this video. All right? So I will end by saying this. We have been told we've been told by the Darwinists that all physical evidence even discovered by scientists, support their picture of human origins, which has human being like us into existence about 100,000 years ago. It said, I think we can safely say that's not true. There's a chain of discoveries going from 100,000 years ago all the way back to 2 billion years. I did not find any evidence older than that. I think it is, at the very least, an interesting concept. I cannot say the fucking word. Coincidence that the ancient Sanskrit writing says human may have been present on Earth for 2 billion years. Now that's, man, listen, like, that's crazy. It say, what does this suggest? It say it means that it means we need an alternate. We need an alternate picture of human origins. It say, and I intend to present one of my own in my next book, Human Devolution. It say, in that book I will suggest that we have not evolved upward from apes on the planet, and mind science tell us, but that we have de-evolved from an original spiritual position of higher level of reality. So, and that's facts. I concur. Alright, so this is, I guess this is, it's saying you're being lied to. This is a book. It's saying more great articles about a book you're being lied to. So I guess this book like kind of debunks things. So far in this video, let me see something. So we already read right here. It said that, Homo sapiens, they found Nappa figurines. The evidence therefore suggests that humans of modern types was living in America around 2 million years ago. That right there outdo any of the African theory. And how do we know that they was? Negroid looking people? Now look, hold up. This is the same thing I read in the other article. All right. So these are 2 different articles, just to let you know. This is actually a PDF. Well, two different PDFs. Alright, so this Forbidden Archaeology, Michael Cremo. This is basically, like I said, an overview. And this is pretty much like a lot of the research compiled into one. Alright, so this is the same thing. The gold chain found in Morrisville, Illinois. I just read about this in the last article here. So he tells you when you go down. Well, I guess you know what? This might be kind of. Hold up. Let me see something. I do not like this. Should keep jumping up and down. All right here. So here we go. Yeah, so he's saying that, look, right here. It said the Illinois State Geological Survey has said the coal in which the gold chain was found is 260 to 320 million years old. This raises the possibility, it say that culturality, it say advanced human beings were present in North America during this time. All right. So, I mean, it's more. Look right here, Iowa. It's Iowa. I mean, y'all gotta read. I'm gonna put this in the description, man. Let me see something. Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff right here in America. It's right here, and it's all in one area right here. I'm gonna put this link in the description right here, or put it inside the put it in the description. But yeah, man, it's a lot, man. Like I said, it's a lot of research with this, man. And sometimes this shit can get real deep, man. You know what I'm saying? And it can definitely take time from your daily life or what you do. That's why I put the research out there and see if some of you guys want to do or pick the torch up and do some of the research, because you know I already know for the most part, and I got I got files of information on this. You know what I'm saying? Not just no data, not just how they say that, historical documents. I got sources and shit stating that they found people here or whatever to back up the more recent evidence that we got. You know what I'm saying? So not just saying, all right, well, historical documents and proving that, oh, the 1790 census and showing, oh, it was colored. No. It got other historical. Now, this right here is not, he ain't give no description to the images of the people was found or whatever. Like, I'm not going to speculate, but I'm going to let you guys use your imagination on what you may think these people. He said fucking a gold chain. He said the Joker had a gold chain on. Come on, man. I mean, like, I'm not even saying, all right, well, let's say if we had to speculate, out of all the people in the world that wear gold chains, who would we point at? Who we point at? Out of all, okay, you see some Italians wear, but they don't wear it like we wear it. We out there on the block with our shit, with, you know what I'm saying, t-shirt, nice, you know what I'm saying, long chain. We do that on a regular, you know what I'm saying. This ain't something like where Joker might have a chain tucked up under a t-shirt. Nah, niggas out there rocking that shit heavy. Chain, I mean, diamonds in their ears, gold teeth. So we already know any of that fashion where they showing you that people was wearing gold and people was flossing gold and stuff like that. That was us, man. Because we doing it now. It's no coincidence that a lot of stuff that was done back then, we do the same thing now. We the only people who do that. You don't see no other, because you know what? We got that in our DNA, that we had abundance of gold and abundance of things over here, to the point to where we just used to make objects and just make stuff and just try to outdo stuff on our artifacts and our artwork and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's kind of in our DNA now, but we got to work for it. And subconsciously we pay for it, and we pay all this money. That's why you ask a joke like that. Why you pay all that money for that gold or whatever? And they don't even know why, but it's in their DNA. So, with that being said, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. I got a little tired at the end reading and all that shit, man. But nonetheless, though, man, hopefully you got it. You get the article and read it for yourself. Never mind how I read. Never mind how my pronunciation. This shit, it takes a lot of time to sit up here and read and do all this shit with my face in the damn computer. You know what I mean? It's like I said, sometimes it's tiresome. It's very tiresome doing this research. But, you know, like I said, it's a lot of other jokers out there who doing good research. Shout out to the brothers, everybody who doing research on their own. And just shout out to jokers who trying, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, I put a lot of my research out there, you know, for people. If you want to use the research, I'm not one that's saying nobody is plagiarizing or somebody taking information, because I'm not the one who making the information. But if you take my information and put it in my content, because I put certain things in my content, just give me a shout out, man. Just give me a shout out, bro, because I give all of the people shout outs in which I derived information from. Like I said, shout out to Eileen Bay, because Eileen Bay was the only one talking about Michael Cremo and Forbidden Archaeology. Shout out to Eileen Bay, and definitely thank for the source. And I learned a lot of this Aborigine stuff from him. So definitely shout out to that brother. You know what I'm saying? Whether people get along with him, whether, he's a Moor, and shout out to him, bro. Definitely shout out to him. So with that being said, man, love and light to the Aborigines. Hopefully I get back on my live stream sometime in the near future. But with that being said, man, it's your boy the Conscious one, man. You already know. Peace.